Wong e hong e wang na hu.
Since the beginning of time, the people of the Huu-ay-aht First Nations have lived, loved, and prospered here on the rugged west coast of Vancouver Island. This is their home. These proud, fiercely independent people are traditionally self-sufficient, enjoying the bounty of the land and the sea. After almost 130 years of living under a system they did not choose, they are about to regain that independence and take control over their destiny. The system is about to change.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the territory of the Huu-ay-aht.
Thank you for inviting me to the territory of the Huu-ay-aht. It's good to be here.
Good.
As you drove up, I heard people say the Tyee has arrived.
On June the 14th of 2007, they hosted a celebration and feast that was history in the making. After 14 years of hard work and tough negotiations, they and both the federal and provincial governments are close to ratifying a treaty that will put the power back into the hands of the Huu-ay-aht people, changing their lives forever. It was a time for celebration.
One of the reasons we thought it important to get people together was to practice one of our traditions, and that's let's have a meal together and have some fellowship together. That is one of the strongest elements of our culture. Secondly, we wanted to show other non-Aboriginal people who don't know what a great community the Bamfield and the Huu-ay-aht have.
I want to say and bring greetings from Minister Jim Prentice. Your people have been on a journey. I want to applaud your Chief Counselor and the people for taking advantage of the treaty process and looking at it as an opportunity to find a way to move things forward. I want to congratulate the people of Huu-ay-aht for endorsing a constitution.
June the 14th was a great day for our nation, and a great day in particular for me. Minister DeYoung, the Minister of Aboriginal Relations and Reconciliation, came to our community. He spent the night in our community. We had a wonderful feast of seafood. We celebrated the accomplishments that we've made over the last 15 years.
I have to share something with you. I have to share with you why I wanted to come here. I needed to borrow a small part of the feeling that goes with making history. I wanted to see for myself perhaps one of the most beautiful village locations in all the world, never mind British Columbia or Canada. And now, only a month after the people of Huu-ay-aht have voted on a new constitution, they stand on the threshold of taking an incredibly important historic step. And ladies and gentlemen, the province, the country is watching.
To see the minister come up and join in our singing group and to very energetically drum along with us, for me was extremely special. It was the minister showing us, our community members, that BC wants to have a treaty with us. And for him to take time out to come to our homelands was a wonderful experience, not just for me, but I think for him, but more importantly for our community.
Give the man a good hand.
when we ratify the treaty, there's going to be not just jobs, lots of jobs made available, but there'll be lots of business opportunities that we need to start promoting to our young people and saying, there's going to be opportunities out there that you can take advantage of.
What an incredible sense of who the Huu-ay-aht are. That's what exists here amongst the leadership, but amongst almost every member that I've met of the Huu-ay-aht. And it's that confidence, it's that willingness to step out and say, we are going to take charge of our own destiny in the way that we historically have as Huu-ay-aht, that is invigorating, and that the passion is what leaves an impression.
To me, it's regaining the right to occupy the lands that you want to within your territory, and it's regaining the right to have a say what happens in your territory.
The treaty really solidifies that strong and proud history of our nation. It solidifies our culture, our language, our heritage sites, our sacred places. It solidifies our resources, our land base, and our access to the ocean. The treaty is going to be protected by the Constitution of Canada, and for once in our history, we're going to ensure and enshrine that our proud and strong history continues on into the future forever.
Many dramatic, positive changes in the economy of the Huu-ay-aht First Nations will come directly from the land.
The land provides everything we have today. It provides the wildlife, it provides the fishery, it provides our food, it provides our place to live. It provides our economic opportunities. It's absolutely important.
It's going to give us control over our land base and give the control back to our hereditary chiefs and our community and it's not only going to do that, give us control and management, but it's going to give more recognition to our hereditary system and to showcase that we can control and take care of our resources within our traditional territories.
Just getting out on the water is my favorite thing to do, man. Probably like an equivalent to a cowboy riding on the plains. We've always wanted to be managers of resources, but under the Indian Act, we're always on the outside looking in. A treaty will give us an opportunity to be at the table to make sound decisions and bring in some of our traditional ecological knowledge. I mean, we're from here. We know this area. We know the land. We know how to deal with resources. We were stewards of this land before contact. So
we set them onto these wavy plates, and they'll just crawl around on those plates, spread themselves out any way they want. And the kelp gets sort of stuffed down in between the plates.
Much of the business focus will be on aquaculture, where many unique, eco-friendly ventures are planned. They are meant to enhance the traditional resources with a focus on worldwide markets.
the plan over the next 5 to 10 years will be to reseed and repopulate this whole bay all the way over to Chitasias. And there will be clams, probably 30 to 40 pounds every square meters for future people to come along and make a living at. And I'm hoping to reach Asia or European markets with our oysters and clams from here, and one day be able to push a button and have a FOB delivered to you in China or wherever it is.
Forestry projects are also at the top of the list.
The dryland sort that we purchased, that we're standing on now, is a big important tool for our forestry company. It's access to the world in terms of marketing the wood for our people. Before, we were sitting on the outside looking in, watching all the resources leave our territories.
Being strong and competitive in the world market is crucial. That strength will also help take care of things at home.
In treaty, we're going to have the opportunity to develop residential areas. We're going to have the opportunity to build more homes for people. We don't have the land base to do that now, nor do we have the money to do that now. We're limited to resources in funding and to the land base to access Cedar for, building homes or what have you. But that opportunity is certainly going to be there for our members to move home to build a home and build a business if they want to build a business here in their homelands.
The treaty will also help to vault them into competition with the large forest companies and allow them to help improve the lives of many of their non-native neighbors.
I can see us working quite well with the local industry guys here because they've been losing work for the last 10 years. The forestry industry has been downsizing. I believe for a number of them, at least the contractors in our circles know that if we get stability and long-term tenure, we'll be able to provide jobs for them and their families, and therefore, providing a good support in the BC economy.
Another business with tremendous potential is ecotourism, which is exploding in British Columbia and will be right at the doorstep of the Huu-ay-aht First Nations. Taking an active role in the local business community will be key.
If you came into Banfield today, you wouldn't see a Huu-ay-aht presence in terms of business. One of my recommendations was to buy a Kingfisher Marina. And we'll own a dock, we'll own the gas station, we'll be able to provide service to the tourism industry. When I say service, I mean from like 4 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night. Be open there, catering to the people that come and share our resources. The hotel, the store, the gas station, also the old fish plant, J.S. McMillan's. This will be the land of the Huu-ay-aht once again.
He's very happy that the community has pulled together, that the council and the political leaders here have dedicated the time and the money to build this place where children can learn our language, where they're going to be learning the language from the old people here who can still speak their language fluently.
It's been a long fight, to try and get some of our culture and things that had been taken away from us in the past. And this is what our forefathers and ancestors have been fighting about for many, many years. And we're finally taking that one big step in this treaty.
Making the language strong again is a priority. Pawats, or the language nest, has been created to keep the language flowing from the elders down to the children. In treaty, this movement will charge ahead like never before.
This will be the Huu-ay-aht nest for teaching our children. And I hope that we devote every ounce of our energy to save something that is almost lost. We must resuscitate our language. We must put life back into it.
The people who are skilled in this language have the ability to teach it, not as teachers, but by speaking and by immersing young people in a room where people are speaking their own language. It's possible for them to learn how to speak with people who speak this language.
Baptism. That's a good way to remember.
Nobody spoke the language no more. But with this little, our language nest behind me here, we've gone a long ways, and we started with babies, 2-year-old babies. And I believe that's what our future holds, is to continue our language and culture.
Today, the truth is right here. There's little kids running around. There's lots of old people standing there who've been acknowledged by your community. I mean old. And that's a good thing. Many of our tribes don't get together like this. Young, old, teenagers, And it really makes me feel good to see you guys as a community come out here and say language is important.
What is Kukwana?
Kukwana is...
I know what it is, I mean, but the explanation in here, for them to explain to someone.
The elders are committed to ensuring that their knowledge is passed along to the younger Huu-ay-aht people.
I can see the role of the elders becoming more valuable and more in demand for the changing environment that we're going to see through the treaty process. I think that we're going to see more of our culture actually coming back as I see younger boys going up to join our singers and drum. That gives a real sense of pride that they're doing this, and to see the young girls on the dance floor, and I think that that will continue, and I think that the elders will play a great role in that.
Sharing Huu-ay-aht culture and oral traditions with the world will be an excellent way to ensure that they will be preserved and protected.
Maybe we should stay in this, eh? This whole piece here should be staying, maybe.
Arts and crafts are also part of that drive to share. The treaty will enable the Huu-ay-aht people to be even more proactive in keeping a strong connection with their past and their sense of self-identity.
It's another good thing about sort of settling some of these political issues. People want to come here. They want to learn, right? They want to, and they love the setting. And there's this inherent trust. They see the Huu-ay-aht and the connection with the land. It's all very real, and it helps people, right? It's going to be an exciting time.
Well, this side here and all the islands is all Huu-ay-aht.
That's all Huu-ay-aht.
Yeah, and then right across the lake, that's Huu-ay-aht.
Right.
The Broken Group Islands on that side.
Yeah.
And then they went up in here.
I see.
And then right over, see where that island is over there?
Yes.
Just a little further, then on the west or the left side would be Port Chucklasset. And there, yeah. And then our main village is this one was our main village.
Right.
Banfield, the whole Banfield Inlet. In terms of what the archaeologists told us for the amount of, there was a lot of artifacts on here in this small
And everything from tools to living implements to fishing implements.
5,000 something years old.
And those would have dated back maybe several
6,000
years.
Yeah, this is probably the oldest village site. This one and Keeshan are. That man, Chief Louis, when he was born in 1880. And he was the hereditary chief of our nation, and he left a lot of stories about our land. It's amazing that those stories are now surfacing and they're being used, and I like it where his oral history is just virtually being verified by science. Yeah.
Surveyed all the way up to the mountaintops, and there's evidence of timber use in the form of CMTs, what they're called, culturally modified trees, and it ranges from stumps to building of canoes, and then at the mountaintops it's generally in the form of bark stripping. And there's evidence all throughout our territory of us using cedar, red cedar, yellow cedar.
This one here has the well-preserved tool marks, which is a blunt angle of attack. And also, with the stump, also has the same tool marks. There's also a big missing section gone. It could be in the form of planking to use the whole entire tree, or what I believe it's a dugout canoe. It's a fair-sized cedar, as you can see. It's almost 2 meters that's gone. It looks pretty solid. Most likely wasn't rot, why they used it probably for a canoe. In the treaty environment, we're acquiring these lands, and then we'll be able to protect these and preserve these for eternity, because this is a very important site, very important in history to the Huu-ay-aht First Nation, to prove that we did inhabit not just the oceans, but up in the lakes and the tributaries up on the Sarita.
Strong connections to the past are essential. So is having a clear vision of the path to the future. That's where the young people will play a crucial part.
So on July 28th is a big day for us, and it's not only a day where we're going to be ratifying the treaty, but it's the day where we're going to be handing the torch over to our youth. And I'm really pleased about that, because I know that you guys are ready.
I think we are ready.
I see the young people being the salvation. We've mentored them well, so in a sense we have carried on oral history. They're going to be running this place for us, and I think we're just all we're doing is building the foundation.
The second stage will be implementation. It'll be actually doing what it says in the treaty. It'll be figuring out exactly how we're going to go about governing our lands. We've had to rely on a lot of theory and education rather than learning by doing. And I think the second stage will be that. And there will be mistakes made, but I think it will be all right. I think we'll be fine. I think we're ready.
A wide variety of skills will be needed to make it all work. Opportunities for the young people will be almost endless.
Everybody thought it was going to be all university degrees and computers, and that's not necessarily the case. The people who know how to do the important things, and this is things like build a house, install windows, all this sort of thing, those people are retiring. And in a small community like this, if one or two of those people retire, then there's no service. You have to ask people to come in from Port Alberni or something like that. Now, if we could get that done in-house, that's so much better.
We're going to need lawyers, we're going to need nurses, we're going to have hopefully old age homes for our elders to live in and grow old in our own lands. We're going to need engineers and carpenters and plumbers and electricians, and the opportunities are endless. Whatever it takes to build and run a city, that's what we're going to need.
I'd like to see a paved road. I'd like to see broadband internet, because I do come from out there. And I'd like out there to be a part of in here, but I'd also like in here to survive. I'd like the traditional culture here to survive, the traditional way of life. And I'm only learning about it now, but it needs to be there in order for there to be a community here.
The people of the Huu-ay-aht are making history. They are leaders. I stand with those people. I stand with them, my colleagues stand with them, and I applaud leaders who have had a courage and a vision to make that happen.
We'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight. We'd like to thank you for accepting the invitation of our Huu-ay-aht to come join us for a meal. This man has a vision of our community coming together, where our old government and the new government will work together. Our Huu-ay-aht has envisioned a treaty happening someday. His father had the same vision, as did his grandfather and his great-grandfather and his great-great-grandfather. There is opportunity. Let us work for this positive change for the better of all of us, for the better of our children, for the betterment of our future children. Thank you for coming up. Choo, Brenco, Brenco.
Really exciting to be where we're at today.
Yeah, because you're poised now through the treaty to sort of arrange the marriage of two worlds, two approaches, and maybe enjoy the best of both worlds. Yeah. Right? Have to acknowledge the incredible value their leadership represents for the rest of the province and the rest of the country, because people are watching. People right across the province, and I think right across the country, are going to celebrate and extend their congratulations to the Huu-ay-aht, and that will be a happy day for all of us.
Any kind of positive change can take a long time. For the people of the Huu-ay-aht First Nations, it took almost 130 years, but now their time has come. The next step is to shed the past and together move steadily into the future.
I see us working together to define what our relationship with Canada is going to be. One of the best ways to correct a wrong is first you forgive someone when they've done harm to you. And when you can forgive someone for doing harm to you, you can move on to the next step.
I have a message for our children. The message is to be courageous, to sit on the knees of their grandparents and their aunts and their uncles who have lived a life under the Indian Act, a life that has not been good, a life that has been very difficult, and to take what they've learned from their experience and to seize the future, the opportunities in the treaty, and to move our nation forward.
It really is about creating a future for the children, the young members of the Huu-ay-aht.